Preface. In the annals of time, there are stories that transcend the boundaries of legend and reality, tales that weave together the essence of heroism, sacrifice, and the eternal struggle between light and darkness. Guardians of Power, The Guardians Ascend, is one such epic, chronicling the relentless journey of four remarkable individuals whose destinies are entwined with the fate of the world. In a universe where ancient jewels hold the balance of power, capable of tipping the scales towards light or casting shadows over all realms, our story follows Vikram, Aditi, Aditya, Kanika, and Shesha, five guardians bound by prophecy and purpose. Their quest is fraught with peril and discovery, testing not only their physical prowess but the very core of their beliefs and bonds. The guardians embark on a perilous expedition, encountering treacherous terrains, mythical trials, and ancient repositories of wisdom. Along the way, they uncover profound truths about the jewels and their pivotal role in maintaining the balance between realms. Each challenge pushes them to their limits, forcing them to grow and strengthen their resolve. As the world teeters on the edge of darkness, the Guardians must make agonizing choices, balancing immediate threats with the need for strategic actions to preserve the future. Their battles span across the world, showcasing their combined strength and unwavering determination. Sacrifices are made, and heart-wrenching decisions alter their lives forever. Emerging as symbols of hope, the Guardians inspire a world ravaged by darkness. Their journey transforms them and the world around them, setting the stage for rebuilding and renewal. Yet, even as they look towards the future, shadows of new threats loom on the horizon, hinting at adventures yet to come. Guardians of Power, The Guardians Ascend, is more than a tale of heroes and villains. It is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, the strength found in unity, and the enduring fight to protect the light within us all. As you embark on this journey with the Guardians, may you find inspiration in their trials and triumphs, and may their story remind you that even in the darkest times, hope and courage will always ascend. Chapter 1. The Labyrinthine Library. The weight of the prophecy pressed heavily upon them as the Guardians left the Zanskar monastery behind. Their quest for the final jewel, the Sapphire of Illusions, led them not to a shimmering palace or a sacred mountaintop, but to a place shrouded in legend, the Labyrinthine Library. According to the cryptic message deciphered by Aditi, the library lay hidden deep within a forgotten desert, its entrance guarded by a series of treacherous trials. The journey itself was fraught with danger. The unforgiving desert sun beat down mercilessly, and the sand stretched out before them like a vast, shimmering sea, its silence broken only by the occasional hiss of wind. After days of relentless travel, their supplies dwindling and their throats parched, a shimmering mirage materialized on the horizon. As they squinted through the heat haze, a sense of wonder washed over them. The mirage wasn't an illusion, it was a colossal gateway, intricately carved from a strange, otherworldly stone that seemed to shimmer with a faint inner light. This was the entrance to the Labyrinthine Library. But as they drew closer, the gateway pulsed with an unseen energy, revealing a network of twisting corridors and hidden chambers. It was a labyrinth, a maze of knowledge guarded by ancient magic. The air crackled with a sense of anticipation. A single wrong step could trigger a deadly trap, or unleash a monstrous guardian from the forgotten depths of the library. Vikram, ever the impulsive one, took a step forward, his hand instinctively reaching for the Samantaka money for reassurance. "Hold on, Vikram," Aditi cautioned, her voice laced with a newfound respect for the dangers ahead. "This will require more than just brute force." She was right. The first corridor they entered was lined with shelves stacked high with ancient scrolls, their surfaces covered in strange symbols that seemed to writhe and shift in the flickering torchlight. Kanika, the guardian of the Neelam, stepped forward, her sapphire glowing softly, revealing hidden passages and illuminating forgotten paths. As they ventured deeper, the labyrinth threw challenges at them. Riddles etched on the walls tested Aditi's sharp intellect. Intricate puzzles required Shesha's serpentine agility and Vikram's raw strength to solve. Gigantic stone guardians, awakened by their presence, lumbered to life, forcing them to fight with a coordinated fury, their newfound teamwork their only defense. With each trial they overcame, a sense of camaraderie grew stronger. They were no longer just a group of individuals thrown together by circumstance. They were a team, their strengths complementing each other in a way they hadn't realized before. Finally, after days of navigating the labyrinth's treacherous depths, they reached a vast chamber unlike any they had seen before. Its walls were lined not with books, but with swirling galaxies and constellations projected onto the very fabric of reality. In the center of the chamber floated a single, ethereal orb, pulsing with a soft blue light. The Sapphire of Illusions. The final piece of the puzzle. But as they reached for it, a booming voice echoed through the chamber, sending shivers down their spines. Welcome, Guardians. But knowledge comes at a price. A figure materialized from the shadows, its form cloaked in darkness, its eyes glowing with an ancient power. The Guardians had reached the library's heart, but their greatest challenge may have just begun. Chapter 2: Whispers of the Past. The booming voice that echoed within the chamber of the labyrinthine library sent a jolt of fear through the Guardians. Yet, they stood their ground, their gazes fixed on the imposing figure cloaked in shadow. But the figure remained silent, its presence a tangible threat in the vast chamber shimmering with the glow of celestial bodies. Kanika, her sapphire glowing softly, took a hesitant step forward. Who are you? Guardian of this library? The cloaked figure chuckled, a sound like dry leaves rustling in a forgotten crypt. Guardian? Perhaps. But not in the way you think. As the figure stepped closer, revealing a face etched with the wisdom of ages, a sense of recognition dawned on Vikram. It was the archivist, the silent figure they had seen guarding the ancient texts in the Zanskar monastery. But here, within the library's heart, he seemed different, imbued with an otherworldly power. Welcome, Guardians, the archivist spoke, his voice surprisingly gentle. You have come a long way, and your courage has brought you here. But knowledge, like power, comes at a price. He gestured towards the swirling galaxies that adorned the chamber walls. These are not mere decorations. They are windows to the past, whispers of a time before time. With a wave of his hand, one of the swirling galaxies solidified, revealing a scene from a forgotten era. The first ones, beings of pure light, stood alongside humans, their forms radiating a benevolent energy. In their hands, they held the 5 jewels, glowing with a soft, ethereal light. The scene shifted, showcasing a cataclysmic event, a fiery explosion that engulfed both the first ones and the humans. The jewels, scattered across the chaos, pulsed with a desperate energy, as if trying to hold back the encroaching darkness. The archivist spoke again, his voice filled with a deep sadness. The jewels were not meant as mere trinkets of power. They were created to maintain the balance between light and darkness, between the realms beyond and our world. The scene in the swirling galaxy dissolved, replaced by another. This time, it showed a lone figure, shrouded in shadow, grasping a 6th jewel, pulsating with an ominous red glow. A chilling realization dawned on the Guardians. Envix, the embodiment of darkness, had wielded a jewel of her own, corrupting the balance and unleashing chaos upon the world. Aditi, ever the scholar, her eyes gleaming with newfound understanding, stepped forward. The ancient texts, they hinted at a hidden message within the library. A clue to the location of the Sapphire of Illusions. The archivist smiled faintly. Indeed. You have a keen eye, young one. The location is not marked on a map, but hidden within the constellations themselves. He pointed towards another swirling galaxy, its stars forming an intricate pattern. As Aditi squinted, she saw it a faint outline of a temple, nestled amidst a cluster of stars. It was a specific location, hidden in plain sight, waiting to be discovered. A wave of relief washed over them. They had come for knowledge, and the library had delivered. They now knew the true purpose of the jewels and the danger NYX posed. More importantly, they had allayed the location of the Sapphire of Illusions. "Thank you," Kanika said, her voice filled with respect. "We will use this knowledge wisely." The archivist nodded, his gaze lingering on each guardian. "Remember," he said, his voice echoing in the vast chamber, "the jewels are powerful tools, but true strength lies in unity. Use them wisely, for the fate of your world rests in your hands." With those words, the archivist faded back into the shadows, leaving the guardians alone with their newfound knowledge and a renewed sense of purpose. There was no time to celebrate, they had a temple to find and a jewel to claim. The final battle against NYX was drawing closer, and they were ready to face it, together. Chapter 3: The Price of Power. Guided by the celestial map revealed within the labyrinthine library, the Guardians embarked on their final quest, the retrieval of the Sapphire of Illusions. Their destination, a forgotten temple nestled amidst a cluster of stars, shrouded in mystery and legend. The journey itself was arduous. They traversed treacherous mountain passes, navigated dense jungles teeming with unknown creatures, and crossed vast, desolate plains under an unforgiving sun. But the more they ventured closer, the heavier the air grew, thick with an oppressive silence and a sense of foreboding. Finally, after weeks of relentless travel, they emerged onto a plateau bathed in an airy twilight. Before them stood the forgotten temple, its once gleaming white stone now weathered and cracked, its imposing structure casting a long shadow over the desolate landscape. Legends spoke of the temple's immense power, a repository of ancient knowledge and magic. But those legends also whispered of a terrible curse, a price to be paid for wielding the power it held. A shiver ran down their spines as they approached the temple entrance. The air crackled with an unnatural energy, and strange symbols etched on the massive stone doors seemed to writhe and pulsate with a malevolent light. Vikram, ever the impulsive one, his hand instinctively reaching for the Samantaka money, felt a strange pull towards the temple. An intoxicating whisper seemed to slither into his mind, promising power beyond his wildest dreams. "This place, it hums with energy," he said, his voice slightly slurred. "We can use this power to defeat NYX. We won't need the sapphire." Aditi, her brow furrowed in concern, placed a hand on his arm. "Vikram, wait. Don't be rash. The legends warn of a curse." But Vikram seemed lost in his own world, his eyes gleaming with a feverish intensity. The power emanating from the temple was intoxicating, feeding his deepest desires for dominance and control. Aditya, his voice laced with a newfound maturity, stepped forward. "We need to work together, Vikram. The temple's power might be alluring, but it could be a trap." Suddenly, Shesha, his serpentine body coiling tightly, hissed a warning. "This curse. I recognize it. It's the same one that..." He stopped abruptly, his voice trailing off as a flicker of pain crossed his ancient reptilian eyes. The guardians stared at him, a sense of shock and confusion washing over them. Shesha, the enigmatic serpent who had always been shrouded in mystery, seemed on the verge of revealing a long-held secret. "There's more to this temple than meets the eye," Shesha rasped, his voice laden with regret. "A part of my past is intertwined with this place. A past that binds me to the curse." A gasp escaped Aditi's lips. This revelation changed everything. If Shesha held the key to unlocking the temple's secrets, they had to listen. But could they trust him? Could they overcome Vikram's growing desire for power and retrieve the sapphire without succumbing to the temple's dark influence? The line between ambition and unity, trust and betrayal, had become dangerously blurred. The fate of the sapphire, and perhaps their own destinies, hung precariously in the balance as they stood before the cursed temple. Chapter 4: Trials of the Sapphire. The air inside the forgotten temple hung heavy, thick with an oppressive silence broken only by the ragged breaths of the guardians. Shesha's revelation about his connection to the curse cast a long shadow over them. Trust, already strained by Vikram's reckless ambition, threatened to shatter completely. But there was no turning back. The fate of the sapphire, and perhaps the world itself, rested on their shoulders. With a deep breath, Kanika, the serene guardian of the Neelam, stepped forward. "The legends speak of trials," she said, her voice echoing eerily in the vast chamber. "Each of you must face a personalized test, a reflection of your deepest fears and weaknesses. Only by overcoming them can you reach the sapphire." A wave of apprehension washed over the guardians. Vikram, his eyes still flickering with an unsettling hunger for the temple's power, clenched his fists. Aditi, ever the pragmatist, squared her shoulders, a glint of determination in her eyes. Aditya, his gaze fixed on a distant point, a haunted memory etched on his face, instinctively reached for the jewel nestled against his chest, the Chintamani, the wish-granting wonder. The trials unfolded in a chilling succession. Vikram found himself trapped in a nightmarish battlefield, forced to confront his own impulsive nature as he faced countless versions of himself, each fueled by rage and a lust for power. Overcoming his inner demons, he learned to channel the Samantaka Mani's fire with newfound control. Aditi, wielding the Chandrakanta, the diamond that shielded from negativity, was plunged into a labyrinth of doubt. Echoing voices questioned her abilities and her role as a guardian, shattering her confidence. But forced to confront her insecurities, she rediscovered her inner strength. The Chandrakanta's light became a weapon against the voices within, her knowledge a shield against their whispers. Aditya, haunted by a tragic event from his past, relived the mistakes that had led him down a dark path. Here, the Chintamani's power proved invaluable. He didn't wish his past away, but rather used the jewel's power to see his memories with clarity, to understand them and emerge with a newfound resolve. The shadows of his past no longer held him captive. Finally, it was Shesha's turn. The curse reacted violently to his presence, whipping the very walls of the temple into a frenzy. Memories of a forgotten betrayal, a pact made with a malevolent entity for the sake of power, flooded his mind. But fueled by his newfound connection to the guardians, Shesha used his knowledge of the curse to navigate the treacherous chamber. He revealed a hidden mechanism, a key to unlocking the final trial and breaking the curse's hold on the temple. With a combined effort, the guardians activated the mechanism. The chamber pulsed with blinding light, and when the dust settled, they stood before a simple pedestal. Upon it, nestled in a bed of soft blue light, lay the Sapphire of Illusions, a breathtaking jewel that seemed to capture the very essence of the sky. But their victory was short-lived. The temple, weakened by the broken curse, began to crumble. The guardians barely managed to escape the collapsing structure before it vanished into a cloud of dust, leaving behind only an echoing silence. Standing amidst the ruins, the guardians examined the sapphire. It pulsed with a strange energy, different from the other jewels. They had overcome their individual trials, but a sense of unease lingered. The temple's power had been immense, and the ease with which it had tempted Vikram served as a stark reminder of the dangers they faced. Yet, as they looked at each other, a sense of unity shone brighter than their apprehension. They had faced their demons, their trust forged in the fires of the trials. They were stronger now, more prepared for the final confrontation that loomed on the horizon. The Sapphire of Illusions was theirs, and with it, the hope of restoring balance to the world. Chapter 5. The Obsidian Tide. Battered but not broken, the Guardians emerged from the ruins of the forgotten temple. The Sapphire of Illusions pulsed softly in Aditi's palm, a breathtaking jewel that seemed to hold the very essence of the sky within its depths. But their victory was tainted by the memory of the temple's trials and the potent darkness they had encountered. As they caught their breath, a tremor shook the very ground beneath them. A panicked expression crossed Kanika's face as she raised her hand, the neelam shimmering with a sapphire light that connected with a similar beacon far away. Images flickered in their minds, monstrous creatures, unlike anything they had ever seen, pouring through swirling black portals that tore open the fabric of reality. News arrived with a horrifying clarity. NYX, sensing the Guardian's approach to the Sapphire, had unleashed her ultimate weapon, the Nexus Gates. These ancient portals, once dormant, were now spewing forth an endless tide of creatures from the realm of darkness, each one a grotesque embodiment of NYX's malevolent power. The world was on the brink of falling into an abyss. Cities burned, screams rent the air, and the very fabric of reality seemed to strain under the onslaught. Despair threatened to engulf the Guardians, but a fierce determination burned brighter in their hearts. "We have to do something," Vikram roared, his voice laced with a mix of anger and fear. "We can't just stand here while the world falls apart." A tense silence followed. The choice before them was stark. They could head straight for NYX's obsidian fortress, confront her directly, and attempt to sever the source of the darkness. But they were weary from their recent trials, and the Sapphire's power remained untested. Alternatively, they could split their forces. A group could dedicate themselves to sealing the Nexus Gates, pushing back the tide of darkness and buying time for the others to face NYX. However, this would leave them vulnerable, a fragmented force against a unified enemy. Kanika, her gaze filled with steely resolve, spoke. "We fight together, or we fall together. But we fight strategically." Her voice rang with authority, years of experience guiding her words. A plan began to take shape. Vikram, fueled by the Samantaka Mani's fiery energy, volunteered to lead a team to the Nexus Gates. Their mission? To find a way to shut down the portals, even if it meant a temporary retreat. Aditi, ever the strategist, joined him, her knowledge of ancient texts potentially holding the key to sealing the gates. Shesha, his serpentine body coiling with a newfound purpose, offered his unique skills for navigating treacherous landscapes and battling the monstrous creatures pouring through the portals. This left Kanika and Aditya to face NYX directly. The burden of confronting the embodiment of darkness felt immense, but their bond, forged in shared experiences and unwavering trust, gave them strength. They would be the hammer, striking at the heart of the darkness, while the others acted as the shield, holding back the tide. With a heavy heart but a resolute spirit, the Guardians split up. Vikram, Aditi, and Shesha raced towards the farthest Nexus Gate, a crimson tear in the sky spewing forth monstrous creatures. Kanika and Aditya, their hands clasped together, turned towards the distant obsidian fortress, a dark monolith spewing forth an aura of malevolent power. The final battle had begun. The fate of the world hung in the balance. The Guardians, united in purpose but divided by necessity, would face their greatest challenge yet. The tide of darkness had risen, but so had their courage. They would fight for the light, for each other, and for the world they held dear. Chapter 6. A World Divided. The world was a tapestry woven with threads of light and darkness. On one side, Vikram, wielding the fiery Samantaka Mani, and Shesha, fueled by his knowledge of the curse, raced against time. On the other side, Aditi and Aditya, their jewels holding immense power, steeled themselves for a duel that could rewrite history. Vikram, his blood coursing with the Samantaka Mani's fiery energy, led the charge towards the nearest nexus gate. A swirling vortex of obsidian pulsed in the distance, spewing forth grotesque creatures, hulking beasts with eyes that glowed like embers and razor-sharp claws dripping with an inky ichor. Shesha, his serpentine form weaving through the legs of monstrous combatants, relied on his knowledge of the curse from the forgotten temple. The nexus gates, powered by the same dark magic, bore a faint echo of the curse's signature. He slithered closer to the swirling vortex, seeking a vulnerability, a weak point where his knowledge could be the key. Meanwhile, Aditi, the Chandrakanta, the diamond that shielded from negativity, clutched in her palm, scanned the landscape, searching for clues amidst the chaos. Her knowledge of ancient texts whispered of a way to shut down the gate, but deciphering the cryptic symbols etched on nearby ruins required a calm mind amidst the storm. Aditya, the Chintamani, the wish-granting wonder, secured against his chest, watched the monstrous gods materialize to bar their way. He didn't wish for instant victory, but rather for clarity, a deeper understanding of their enemy. As he observed Envyexa's forces, the Chintamani revealed a chilling truth: these creatures weren't mindless beasts, but warriors fueled by a twisted sense of purpose, a devotion to the darkness. The battle raged across the world. Vikram, a whirlwind of fire and fury, channeled the Samantaka Mani's power, incinerating waves of attacking creatures. Aditi, her voice a beacon of clarity amidst the chaos, guided them towards the ruins, their combined knowledge their only weapon. Shesha, spotting a faint inscription hidden within the swirling darkness, focused his mind. He channeled the Sapphire's energy and his own connection to the curse, mimicking the inscription's pattern with the Chandrakanta's power. A blinding light erupted from the Nexus gate, engulfing Shesha. Vikram and Aditi screamed his name, but amidst the chaos, he vanished. Had he found a way to close the gate, or had he become another casualty in the war? On the other front, Kanika and Aditya, replaced here by Aditi and Aditya due to previous chapters, fought their way through the fortress' outer defenses. Each step was met with ferocious resistance, each monstrous guardian a testament to Envyexa's malevolent power. But they fought with a desperate courage, their bond fueled by the weight of the world on their shoulders. Finally, they reached the heart of the fortress, a vast chamber pulsing with dark energy. And there she stood, Envyex, a figure cloaked in swirling shadows, her eyes burning with an ancient malevolence. The guardians raised their weapons, a final stand against the embodiment of darkness. The fate of the world, and the battle for the balance between light and darkness, would be decided here, in this heart of obsidian and despair. Chapter 7: The Final Stand. The air crackled with a malevolent energy as the guardians faced Envyex in the heart of her obsidian fortress. Aditi, the embodiment of serenity amidst the darkness, raised her Chandrakanta, the diamond that shielded from negativity. Its light pulsed, a defiant challenge to the swirling shadows that cloaked Envyexa's form. Aditya, the Chintamani, the wish-granting wonder, gripped tight against his chest, focused his gaze on the monstrous entity before him. Envyex cackled, a sound that sent shivers down their spines. "Foolish guardians," she boomed, her voice echoing through the chamber. "You think these trinkets can defeat me? I am the embodiment of darkness, the inevitable end." With a wave of her hand, the shadows writhed, manifesting into grotesque creatures that lunged at the guardians. Aditi, her movements swift and precise, deflected their attacks with the Chandrakanta's protective light. Aditya, fueled by a desperate need to understand their enemy, used the Chintamani's power to probe Envyexa's mind. He gasped, a horrifying truth revealed. Envyex wasn't just a master of dark magic. A faint, ethereal glow emanated from beneath her shrouded form, the energy signature of the First Ones. "You," You are one of them? Aditya choked out, his voice laced with disbelief. NYX smirked, a chilling sound that seemed to echo from the very fabric of darkness. Indeed, little guardian. I was once a guardian of light, entrusted with a jewel like yours. But power corrupts, and I saw the truth. Darkness is the natural order. Despair threatened to engulf them. If NYX wielded the power of the first ones, could they possibly defeat her? With renewed fury, Aditi unleashed a blinding wave of light from the Chandrakanta, momentarily staggering NYX. Aditya saw his chance. He lunged forward, aiming for the pulsating glow beneath NYX's cloak. But NYX was faster. A wave of dark energy slammed into him, sending him crashing against the wall. Aditi screamed his name, the Chandrakanta's light flickering in distress. Aditya lay motionless, the Chintamani falling to the ground with a dull thud. A horrifying realization dawned on Aditi. Aditya wasn't just unconscious, the Chintamani's protective aura had faded. NYX laughed, a cruel and mocking sound. One down, one to go. Now, embrace the darkness, little guardian. With a desperate cry, Aditi summoned every ounce of her power. The Chandrakanta blazed with an intense light as she unleashed a torrent of energy directly at NYX. The chamber trembled, and for a moment, it seemed as if the light would prevail. But NYX, drawing upon the corrupted power of the first ones, met Aditi's attack head-on. The two energies collided in a blinding flash, forcing Aditi to shield her eyes. When the light subsided, a horrifying silence descended upon the chamber. Aditi lay sprawled on the ground, her Chandrakanta dimmed, its once vibrant light barely a flicker. NYX stood tall, her eyes glowing with malevolent triumph. It seemed all hope was lost. Then, a flicker of movement caught NYX's attention. Vikram, his face etched with grief and determination, emerged from the shadows. The Samantaka mani on his chest pulsed with a ferocious heat, fueled by his rage and despair. You took them from me. Vikram roared, his voice thick with emotion. Aditya. Aditi. I'll make you pay. Grief threatened to consume him, but Vikram focused it into a burning rage. The Samantaka mani unleashed a torrent of fire, engulfing NYX in an inferno of white-hot flames. But even as the flames danced around her, NYX remained standing, a chilling smile playing on her lips. Foolish child, she hissed. You cannot defeat a god. Just as NYX was about to unleash the full force of her corrupted power, a blinding light erupted from the far corner of the chamber. A swirling vortex of sapphire energy pulsed with an otherworldly brilliance, momentarily drawing attention away from NYX. From within the vortex emerged Shesha, his serpentine form glowing with an ethereal light. He had done it. He had used his knowledge of the curse and the sapphire's power to close the Nexus gate. But at what cost? Shesha was barely clinging to consciousness, his body riddled with cracks from the immense strain of channeling such power. He lunged at NYX, his body wrapping around her like a glowing serpent, his voice a mere hiss. Darkness, succumb to the light. Chapter 8, Light in the Darkness. The air crackled with a chaotic energy as NYX writhed in Shesha's grasp. The sapphire pulsed within the swirling vortex, its ethereal light battling the darkness that emanated from the corrupted first one. Vikram, his rage momentarily forgotten, watched in horror as Shesha's once vibrant scales grew dull, the borrowed power taking a heavy toll. Aditi, with a Herculean effort, tried to rise. The world seemed hazy, her strength spent, yet her gaze remained fixed on the unfolding scene. Aditya lay still, his fate hanging in the balance. NYX's screams echoed through the chamber, her voice laced with a primal fear. It was the fear of a predator caught in its own trap. Shesha, the creature she had once dismissed, was now her undoing. Darkness, succumb to the light. Shesha hissed again, his voice weak but unwavering. His sacrifice, fueled by the collective strength of the Guardians and the power of the Sapphire, was tipping the scales. With a final, earth-shattering roar, a blinding flash erupted from the point of contact. The chamber dissolved into a swirling vortex of light and darkness, a cosmic tug-of-war raging within. When the light subsided, an eerie silence descended. NYX was gone. Only Shesha remained, his serpentine form lying limp on the cold stone floor, the sapphire hovering above him, its glow dimming rapidly. Vikram rushed to his side, tears streaming down his face. But Shesha's eyes remained closed, his breaths shallow and raspy. Aditi, crawling towards Aditya, reached for his hand. A flicker of relief washed over her as she felt a faint pulse. He was alive, but unconscious. The Chintamani, battered but unbroken, pulsed back to life around his neck. A wave of exhaustion crashed over Aditi. They had won. The world, shrouded in an ominous darkness moments ago, was now bathed in the soft glow of dawn. The monstrous creatures, deprived of their source of power, dissolved into wisps of dark smoke. The Nexus gates, one by one, flickered and shut, sealing the darkness back into the void from whence it came. But victory tasted bittersweet. Shesha lay on the brink of death, his sacrifice the reason for their success. Aditya, though alive, was gravely injured. And Aditi, the sole guardian left standing, felt the weight of their losses press down on her. As the first rays of sunlight filtered through the cracks in the fortress walls, Vikram cradled Shesha in his arms, tears streaming down his face. Aditi knelt beside Aditya, her hand intertwined with his. The world was safe, for now. But the battle had come at a terrible cost. The Guardians, forever changed by their ordeal, stood on the precipice of a new dawn, their hearts heavy with grief and their spirits burdened with the responsibility of rebuilding a world teetering on the edge of chaos. The Sapphire of Illusions lay silent, its purpose fulfilled. Yet, they knew the darkness wouldn't stay banished forever. The jewels remained, a constant reminder of their sacrifice and a beacon of hope, urging them to prepare for the battles yet to come. The Guardians, bound by their shared experiences and unwavering courage, would stand vigilant, protectors of the light in a world forever touched by darkness. Epilogue: A New Dawn. Generations had passed since the epic clash against NYX. The wounds of war shattered cities and ravaged landscapes served as a constant reminder of the darkness they had faced. Yet, the world, bathed in the golden light of a new dawn, slowly began to heal. Kanika, the serene guardian of the Neelam, became a symbol of hope. Under her tireless leadership, villages ravaged by monstrous creatures were painstakingly reconstructed. Knowledge of the jewels and their power was carefully disseminated, and a new generation of protectors was meticulously trained. Aditya, bearing the permanent scars of his near-death experience, channeled his strength into guiding these young guardians. His journey with the Chintamani, the wish-granting wonder, had instilled in him the value of clarity and understanding, not just brute force. He used his wisdom to mentor the new guardians, ensuring they wielded their power responsibly. Vikram, his fiery spirit tempered by loss, remained the fierce protector of the borders. The Samantaka Mani's flames burned bright, a constant vigil against any lingering shadows. The memory of Shesha's sacrifice fueled his resolve, a constant reminder of the price of peace. He trained the young guardians in combat, ensuring they were prepared to face any threat that may arise. Aditi, the guardian who wielded the Chandrakanta, the diamond that shielded from negativity, became a scholar and researcher. She delved into ancient texts, deciphering forgotten lore to gain a deeper understanding of the darkness they had faced. Her knowledge proved invaluable in identifying potential threats and devising strategies to counter them. And Shesha, miraculously revived by the combined efforts of the world's finest healers, remained an enigma. Though his voice was raspy and his movements slow, his knowledge of ancient magic, honed by his connection to the curse, became a cornerstone of the Guardian's training. He served as a living repository of forgotten lore, his guidance invaluable in understanding the nature of darkness and the jewel's power. One crisp morning, as Kanika surveyed the bustling marketplace of a rebuilt city, a glint of unease flickered in her sapphire eyes. A weathered traveler, his clothes bearing the dusty marks of faraway lands, approached her. He spoke of a strange tremor felt deep within the earth, of whispers carried on the wind, whispers of a forgotten power stirring in the forgotten corners of the world. Kanika exchanged a grave look with Aditya, Vikram, and Aditi. The Sapphire of Illusions lay dormant within a secure vault, its power a failsafe for a future threat. Yet, the unease lingered. The darkness might have been pushed back, but it wouldn't stay gone forever. The Guardians, forever bound by their shared sacrifice and unwavering courage, stood ready. The jewels, a constant reminder of their past battles, pulsed with a soft, reassuring light. The world had been saved, but their duty as protectors wasn't over. They were the Guardians, and as long as even a flicker of darkness lingered, their vigilance would never wane. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. A new dawn had arrived, but the future remained uncertain. The Guardians, forever changed, would face it together. Kanika's serenity a guiding light, Aditya's wisdom a steady hand, Vikram's fire a fierce defense, Aditi's knowledge a shield against negativity, and Shesha's wisdom a hidden weapon. Their bond, forged in the fires of battle, was their greatest strength. They were the Guardians, and their story, whispered on the wind and etched in the hearts of a grateful world, was far from over. The jewels remained, a promise that even in the darkest of nights, a beacon of light would always stand against the shadows.